Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 6 of the RLH F1 Asia Cup Category 1. Tonight you join us at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi for what should be a very interesting Grand Prix. I know we had to pull together a couple drivers very last minute for this evening, but it should be all good. We've got a grid of 13. It was initially going to be 10. We managed to pull the injured Sparholt into the race, as well as a couple of others such as Maurice. It should be a good one though, should be quite interesting if anything. Sorry for the slightly delayed start, but it should get underway very soon. As you can see, we're already loading into the qualifying session and we'll be underway in just a few moments. Now this track, some drivers love it, some hate it. Some love it because, and I quote, it's all curbs and full yeet. However, others think it's the most boring, one of the most boring tracks in F1. I mean, you could say Paul Ricard as an argument against that, but whatever you feel. But yeah, we got quite a nice race under the lights, of course, in the desert. Should be quite warm, unlikely to see any rain, and I don't think the drivers will have been practicing for rain. I mean, it's going to be a dry qualifying session, and for some reason in the top left it went to a 3-lap race for a second. But anyway, we're just going to get our stuff ready. We'll get our tyres up, our telemetry, all that goodness, and we will get underway shortly. And you can hear the drivers revving up to lead their garages. It looks like a Ferrari might be leading us out of I can't quite tell who that is. I think that might be Just Call Me Bread. Yes, of course, he's the only Ferrari. I mean, we've got Larkin as well. He's going to be leading us out, so we'll watch him for now. Now, this is the only track where the pit lane actually cuts underneath the circuit, and the cars do sound good through that tunnel. Hopefully we'll try and get a little bit more of that. It's, of course, once again a Herman Tilke circuit, and is situated on the Yas Island, about 30 minutes away from the UAE capital of Abu Dhabi. No rain. Big disappointment there. However, we will be in for a dry race. See if it stays that way throughout the evening. It probably will. It's unlikely to rain here in the deserts of the Middle East. Hello, Justin. Hope you're looking forward to tonight's race. The first Grand Prix here was held in 2009. The opening race, though, was actually the GP2 Asia Series test, which is held in the open circuit officially open the circuit, sorry, which was a week before the 2009 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. What is the best strat on this circuit? Now, I don't think it's got the highest power. Hello, Verstappen. I don't think it's drivers initially going out on the soft, so I reckon a soft to medium is probably the answer. It's not a very abrasive track surface, much like Sochi. In fact, this track's similar to Sochi in a number of ways. So yeah, I reckon we'll be in for a soft to medium strategy. You can see the evening reflecting off of that track surface. Does look very nice, but we are going to ride on board with Larkin as he sets off on his lap. Through turn 21 we go onto the pit straight, not the longest of all of them. Towards turn 1 we go. Through that long left-hander on the power again. Careful of that curve, it can easily upset the car. Through the left-hander of turn 2, then turn 3. Onto the left-hander of turn 4. Flat out as we head towards turn 5 now, which heads into the chicane for turn 6. And then turn 7, that chicane there. Otherwise the cars would be going too hot into turn 7. And there wasn't enough room for a runoff. Onto the longer straight of the circuit then. DRS will be activated now, which runs towards turn 8. Now, the reason you see this little kink in the circuit roughly now is because they have to make room for the car park on the right-hand side. Heavy braking into turn 8 then, which is yet another left-right chicane towards turn 9 on the exit, going through the sweeping left-hander of turn 10. DRS once again, the other pit lane there, which can be used for alternate series. All the way along the straight then towards turn 11, which is a left-right-left through turns 12 and 13. Onto the left-hander again towards turn 14, 90 degrees left, then flat out on the throttle as we head towards turn 15 and 16 before breaking into 17. While you're turning, this can be very easy to lock up here or go deep. That's not going to happen to Larkin though. Anyway, heading through turns 17, 18 and 19 now. before the last two 90-degree turns of 20 here, with the pit lane entrance on your right now towards 21. Got to be careful you get the right apex there and don't end up heading into the pit lane. But will be a 33 from Sem, you predict, but it's a 33.9 from Campbell so far. That McLaren driver just ahead of Larkin, and a 35.7 for Just Call Me Bread. We'll have a look around the order. It's going to be first sector there from Simply Superman. We'll have a look around the order. This is Marcus Short now. He's heading towards the line as it's provisional pole for Sem at 133.7. Marcus Short there with a 134.1. Now we have got a Renault now. That will be Spaghetti Chits there with a 134.3. Now this will be the next guy across the line. This is Elor Patrick in that Toro Rosso. He's going to be heading back into the pits, and it looks like we have another Toro Rosso close to the line. Or was that Kvyat Sparholt with the injured wrist? It very well may be, but we're going to go Heitzweichel first in that Toro Rosso. He's going to invalidate though, so we'll head back to Kvyat Sparholt. Sparholt heading through the final turn now. Bit of a hill. Downhill we go then. It's going to be a 135.0. Now, interestingly about this calendar, the interesting thing is that this isn't the closing round as it tends to be. We'll go to Simply Superman though, because he's heading it towards the last couple of turns now. But yeah, unlike traditionally for this Asia Cup, we haven't put Abu Dhabi as the season finale. In fact, I think Australia might be the season finale. That's going to be a 134.7, just 7 thousandths of a second faster than his teammate, sorry. So very close between the two racing points. We'll see if that carries on through to the race. Lakitu, though, he is just rounding off at these guys. And do let me know your predictions for the qualifying results. I think Niels Master joined ever so slightly too late. We've got Lakitu heading towards the final couple of turns now. Oh, Japan is the finale. Yeah, that might be correct, actually. I'll have a look at the calendar in a moment's time. But here comes Lakitu towards the line. He's done 5 laps of practice, and it's going to be third place for now with a 133.9. Not too far off QVR Campbell, though, so definitely posing a threat to that McLaren driver. We'll see if he can continue that threat for the rest of the session. Maybe try and pull ahead as well. But we've got Heitzweichel now in that Toro Rosso. He went for that second flying lap, having invalidated last time. He's had to go low on the RS. It's not going to be the fastest lap he's going to be able to produce. Let's see where it puts him. It's going to be a 135.0. Not far behind Kvyat Sparholt, who we must remember is handicapped in the nicest possible way. Just having a look around, we've got Eloy Morris. He's just started his lap there. Having a look around. In that bottom right, you can tell by the ERS mode, it's only level 3 for Simply Superman. Maybe going for a second lap here. No, he's going to pull into the pits there. We can see other drivers being taken into the garages. So we go to Maurice now, because he's the only driver I can see on the hot lap. That's going to be the fastest first sector though, so pretty good. Hello, Black Mamba. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to quickly get the RLH calendar up now. Hold on 2 seconds. But yeah, here we go. An interesting track. Lots of 90-degree turns, and it's not the most driver-oriented track. I think it was more designed to be a impressive feat of engineering, which it certainly is. It's one of the best F1 facilities there is. However, that's the facility rather than the actual circuit. So it's a mixed bag here. So. Ooh, he's gone off there, Maurice, and that's going to ruin his lap. He's set the yellow flags as well. Just at the start of Sector 3, it looks like. Yep. On the exit of, I think, turn 15 that was. However, we'll go to Category 1. So the calendar, we are at Yas Marina today. Singapore is next week. Oh, my goodness, and that's Eloy Morris out of the session. Just 2 turns away from the finish line. He's not going to be happy about that. That lap went from bad to worse for him. We'll go to this Rebel there, Bjorn, heading towards turn 17 now. But yeah, that's not a good end to the session for Maurice in that Mercedes. Just have a quick look at these comments. This track sucks. Why is Jerome not driving Category 1? I don't know. Let's Have a quick look at the standings, though, as across the line goes beyond that, so 135.4. And I just noticed Just Call Me Bread is also out of the session. He went out at turn 16, that looks like. Yeah, between turn 16 and 17. Maybe he ran straight on there. We've got LR Patrick coming towards there now. I think yeah, he just ran straight on, it looks like. So really not good. You can see the lockup I was talking about there on the front right for Patrick. I think he might be on a hot lap, as that's invalidated there for QVR Sparholt. He's not going to be happy. Here comes Locking. In fact, that was an outlap for Sparholt. Anyway, Sem is our championship leader heading into this round with 96 points, which puts him well clear of Larkin on 58, who's only 1 point clear of QVR Campbell. So that's going to be a battle we're going to have to watch out for tonight. Lakitu's on 54, just 3 points behind. Then 4 points behind him is Dropye on 50. Spaghetti Chips is on 43 points, with Marcus Short on 33. We have Will G on 24, just 1 point ahead of Justice's Simply Superman now on 15, 1 point ahead of QVR Sparholt. Sins of Danger won't be racing tonight. Eloise Morris on 0 points as well, so the rest of the drivers all on 0 as it seems. But across the line there goes Larkin, 134.2. It looks like QVR Campbell's quicker around this track. Good for the championship for Campbell. We'll see if that carries through to the race though. Your wheel will be fixed tomorrow. Nice. Hopefully you can get back racing ASAP. We're already past halfway through this qualifying session though, and it's been quite close. We'll have a look at the gap between the drivers. So the top 6 only 6, just over 6 tenths separating all of them. The overall grid though, it's about 2 seconds, so quite a wide-ranging amount of times. So that's relatively interesting. We'll see how that progresses through the session. But yeah, it should be in for a good race. I mean, Sem is absolutely storming away with this championship. He's well clear of those behind him. I think a win tonight could put him potentially in a place to win the championship. Hold on a second. Well, I can't be bothered to do the maths because there's a lot of maths I'd need to do, but at the end of the race, he might wrap up the championship. He's about 40 or so points clear of the person behind him. If he can get above 50 points if he can get over 50 points to second, then he could wrap up the championship here at Abu Dhabi as he improves his fastest lap with a 1:33.4, which puts him 4 tenths ahead of QVR Campbell. The amount of pace in that Williams is absolutely astonishing. Now, this morning I decided to watch the 2012 Spanish Grand Prix, probably the greatest Grand Prix to ever have happened in history, for the sole reason that Pastor Maldonado won, and he won well. I mean, that was a good Grand Prix, I have to admit. And also, there was a lot more racing in that race than there had been pretty much the whole 2019 season. Hold on a second, was that Sparholt who just ran straight on there? Yes, it was. Taking an interesting line through the chicane. I'm not sure if you can quantify that as the racing line, but yeah, relatively interesting. Michael though leading this group of 3 drivers. Sparholt will have to go for a second lap. Maybe that injury hindering him ever so slightly. I'm not entirely sure, but here comes Toro Rosso towards the line now. And oh goodness, yes, my Wi-Fi is absolutely shocking and I can't look at the comments. Michael though with a 1:34.5, putting him clear of LR Patrick and QVR Sparholt. Simply Superman though, I don't think he improved. He's going to be on an end lap after that though anyway. I don't think many drivers have practiced for the track. I don't think many drivers enjoy this track. So yeah, we've got no drivers on an out lap quite yet, or on a hot lap rather. Michael though leading Simply Superman slightly. I mean, Superman will be coming in at the end of this lap anyway. He's done his hot lap, and I think the same can be said about Michael. Could be a 2-stop, yeah. I'm not too sure what the strategy is actually. I probably should have checked that before we got into this race. First Sem, second Smag, third Lakitu. Is that qualifying or race? looks like qualifying. I mean, that's 2 out of 3 so far. All we need is Lakitu to overtake Short and Campbell in the standings on the left there. Soft, medium, medium. I mean, we might see 1 or 2 people go for a soft to hard, try and pull a one-stop. It could be interesting, actually. Strategy might have quite a big impact on the overall outcome. I mean, everyone seems to be starting on the softs. So they're definitely the tyre of choice for now. I mean, we'll put it on fitted and see if anyone decides to change compound, although I don't think we're going to be seeing that. Fortunately, there's a lot of runoff around this track, which does reduce the chance of a crash. Now, Larkin, he's going to be leading the next salvo of laps. Actually, no, I think LR Bjorn might be the sole Red Bull on the circuit now, setting up for a lap. So we'll go to him, and then we'll drop to Larkin. I mean, Larkin, he's in that championship battle, so qualifying is going to be very important for him. First Sem, second Spag, third Campbell. So, Justin, you don't expect the current positioning to change, which is fair enough. So we have LR Bjorn now. We've got just over 3 minutes to go here this evening before the checkered flag is waved to bring an end to this qualifying session. And we'll see how it all plays out. Now, Bjorn is about 0.4 of a second behind QVR Sparholt. He's got a fair amount of time to gain. Maybe he made a mistake or 2 on that original lap. Who I think would be the top 3 at the end of the race? I want to say Sem, Lakitu, and I think Marcus Short. I think those Alphas could possibly get a double podium. I mean, that'd be interesting to see. Yeah, I reckon Sem, Lakitu, and Marcus Short. Although that's a bit of a bold statement. We'll see what happens. I mean, Larkin there in that racing point. I mean, Lakitu's in 4th in the championship. Marcus Short's in 7th, but he's definitely been improving over the last few races. So I do think he could be in good stead for a podium. If I get the results up from last week's race at Sochi. It was Sem, Spag, then Larkin. Short just missing out on the podium there. I don't think Lakitu is racing. I don't know. However it finishes, it will be an interesting race, because I do think that these drivers will be quite close on race pace. Now it's good to see Maurice has joined again. Didn't realise he left actually, and I've just noticed Bjorn has invalidated that lap. So look at this, you've got a train. It looks like the 2 Force Indias working together to give each other a tow, and it looks like as well Maurice is having issues because he's left the session once again. But I do think those 2 racing points, I think I just called them Force India. Sorry, those 2 racing points, I think they were working together along that straight. And we'll see if that happens again. It looks like the gap's extended a bit. Simply Superman has backed off on that lap. So just giving his teammate a last minute tow along that very, very long straight at the end of Sector 2. And has there been a bit of contact? No, I think that was just a slow car just behind where Larkin is. But he will be setting the first of these next few laps. In fact, no, he won't. I believe Michael, no, never mind. Michael has invalidated. So, yes, it will be Larkin, followed by LR Patrick and the 2 Toro Rossos. Yes. So it's hard to tell between the Toro Rosso, the Alfa Romeos and the Ferrari. But across the line goes Larkin. I don't think he's improved position, so we'll go to LR Patrick. Oh, he's had a spin at the final turn. That's the yellow flags. Let's see what Lakitu can do. He's up into 3rd. Marcus Short, though, up into 5th. So those 2 drivers improving. And look at that 1,000th of a second separating Spaghetti Chips and Lakitu. Spag is very lucky in that position with 10 seconds to go. And that crash has ruined LR Patrick's qualifying session. Larkin, though, he looks like he might be going for a second lap here, although he's eating through his ERS like there's no tomorrow. We'll go up to Sem because he's about to head it. He's in the final sector now. He will be followed quite closely by Vikel. That's the only other Toro Rosso outstanding. In fact, no, that's not even a Toro Rosso. That will be QVR Sparholt, the injured driver. As we head towards the line now, though, we'll ride on board with Sem. Can he improve from that 1:33.4? Yes, he does. He improves by a couple. hundredths of a second there, so nothing huge. Kvyat Sparholt jumps up a few positions with a 1:34.5, just 5 thousandths of a second quicker than Elar Bjorn. Who will be next cross line? It'll be Heinz Weichel. He's heading through to... No, he won't. He will have an invalidated lap time. Larkin and Simply Superman. Larkin going for the second lap. He has invalidated. Simply Superman, though, is not far behind. He's just behind the Toro Rosso. I think Marcus Short might be going for a second lap as well. And he's invalidated. That is bad news for him. Larkin also invalidated. Who hasn't invalidated is the real question. We'll go to the Renault at Spaghetti Chips. He'll be looking to improve that gap to Lakitu. And Lakitu is following him very, very closely. The checker flag being waved. The end of the qualifying section is near at hand. Here comes the Renault. Through the last couple of turns, he's run wide and invalidated his lap. Lakitu, though, won't be looking to improve, and that's going to bring an end to that rather intense qualifying session. Marcus, he could have been on for a good one, but he did run wide, and that cost him at the end of his lap. And Lakitu just heading into the pits now. Maybe he'll cross the line before he arrives at his box, or well, he has, but the game refuses to recognise that, unfortunately. So we're going to be stuck here for the time being. However, the top three then, Sem, Spaghetti Chips and Lakitu. Let's see what the predictions were. Sem, Spag and Lakitu. So Black Mamba, you hit the nail right on the head for all three drivers. Not too bad. That's put Lakitu in a good stead to finish on the podium. I wonder how many DNS we'll see this evening. Hopefully not too many. We've only got 13 drivers. In fact, 12 if Maurice doesn't rejoin. So not the fullest grid we've ever had. But as we've seen plenty of times before in RLH, you don't need to have the biggest grid to have the best races. But the qualifying order, it's going to be on pole. Sem at 12, 2004, lining up beside him will be Spaghetti Chips. Lakitu is on the second row with Kvyat Campbell, the third row being Marcus Short, 17, and Larkin, 45. The fourth row being Simply Superman and Heinz Weichel, the fifth being Kvyat Sparholt and Elar Bjorn. Elar Patrick and Just Call Me Bread behind him, and Eloy Morris on his own on the seventh row of the grid. But yeah, look how close that was. Just 5 thousandths separating Bjorn and Sparholt, and only 1 thousandth separating Lakitu and Spaghetti Chips. So yeah, some very, very closely matched drivers, and that should put us on a good heading for the race. We do like bold statements. Ooh. Don't know where I'm going with that, to be honest. But yes, we are going to be underway in just a few moments' time. You can see it's early dusk here at Abu Dhabi. The lights are on full beam though, because it would be quite dark otherwise. Of course, these cars do not have headlights because they probably take up way too much weight and would not be used. But yeah, it'll probably get darker as the session progresses. You can see everyone above the garages very happy to be out here tonight, and they're very synchronised as well, which is quite interesting. Now we're set to begin with F1 in just a couple weeks' time, I believe, but we're going to be underway here for RLH right away. We'll have our gaps up, position change, all that jazz. We'll have our track map up for the first couple of laps, just to see if there's any contact and what the hell has actually happened there. Yo, hello Andy Lincoln. And Magic wishing luck to all of the drivers. Hopefully they can try and keep it clean. 28 laps to go here under the lights. You can see it's a little bit darker than the qualifying session. But don't those grandstands look good in this game, you have to admit. The graphics, rather nice. And Kvyat Campbell, for a moment, apparently inside Sem. Don't quite know what's going on there. Of course, the graphics may be good, but this game's so fraught with problems some of the time. Hopefully we don't get hit with the gremlins tonight. Pile up on that one and Marcus Short to take the lead. I mean, that would be sensational. Don't know what it'd do for the rest of the race though, because I mean, we've got 14 drivers. Niels Barser did join. He'll be starting on the default setup though, so he's not in the best position for a great result this evening, but at least he managed to join us just before we got underway, which we're very thankful for. Loads of the drivers actually just coming in for at the last minute. Now Semel dominates as Justin, hoping to pick something up to use on Thursday. Well, I mean, strategy is always an interesting one around this track, so maybe having a look. I'd suggest to look at Sem and all of the other drivers, especially if they're in a battle, see which is more powerful, the undercut or the overcut. Because I think that will probably have an effect during this race. However, Sem are heading through the final sector now. And it looks like there's been a collision between Just Call Me Brett and Maurice. Yes, as they are already lined up on the grid. Remember, the drivers are going to be getting some last-minute warmth into those tyres and those brakes, but they don't want to be overusing their fuel. I'm not sure if fuel is actually activated in this game during the formation lap, but you want to be trying to warm up the engine as well without, of course, overusing a fuel. So it's a bit of a balance. But here they go then, the Rue turn 21 towards their grid slots. Shortly, it will be the outside line for turn 1 for Sem, but the inside for Spaghetti Chips. He could take the lead here into turn 1 as we get ready to go racing. Sem pushes the formation lap. Good luck, guys. He is lucky, says Justin. Here we go then. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are out and away we go. Held for an absolute age there. Sem has a fantastic start. He's going to be able to defend from Spaghetti Chips, and look at that, Marcus Short has been boxed in by his teammate and QVR Campbell. He's not had the greatest exit. Larkin's going to be trying to get past Marcus Short as he head through turns 2 and 3. Lakitu up into the podium then, defending from QVR Campbell. Marcus Short really having a sniff at the inside line on that McLaren. Not quite close enough to make a move. However, QVR Sparholt though, he's battling, and it looks like contact there in the background. Is that damage for QVR Sparholt, who has an injury? Oh, and there's contact there between Niels Barca and LR Bjorn. Has that had an effect on his front wing? I'm not quite sure, but as we run towards the next couple of turns, Spag and Sem actually pulling away. QVR Campbell moving to the outside of Lakitu. It could be 3 wide as we head towards the hairpin. No, Marcus Short having to back off, and look at that. The 2 racing points side by side. Larkin just ahead of his teammate there. Still where he was, managing to keep that teammate behind him. Niels Barca though is very close to LR Bjorn. In fact, he's ahead of LR Bjorn. Look at this, absolute traffic jammers down the inside. Goes Larkin on Marcus Short. Marcus still being able to defend, but not for long, because that's going to be 5th position there for Larkin. Fantastic move by him. I'm not sure if we've had too much damage, but look at this. The gap between Campbell and Spaghetti Chips is absolutely huge already. We haven't even done the first lap, and they're just dropping back. So not quite sure what the explanation for that is, but LR Bjorn has run wide there. And look at that, Simply Superman, oh, Just Call Me Bread, sorry, going into the back of Eloise Maurice. I don't know if that's going to mean he's sustained any damage. Sem sets the fast up there with a 140.6. Spaghetti Chips though, and has QVR Campbell oh no, apparently Campbell's not far behind. It looks a bit more than our timing boards would lead us to believe, as he runs slightly wide there. Spaghetti Chips though really giving Sem a run for his money. Safety car could be interesting actually. That might have an effect on the strategies of the drivers. It doesn't look like it's gone well for Niels Barca though, as he's been punted in the back. We saw him jolt forward there, and I think that was slight contact between himself and Elot Patrick. But look at this, Maurice is going to try and capitalise on that mistake. He's had a fantastic exit with the slipstream. He's going to move to the outside, sorry, the inside of Niels Barca, heading towards the hairpin, under braking just ahead. He's got Bjorn on Michael down the inside though, even on those medium tyres. He's got ahead, and look at this, Elot Patrick having a go at that Haas. He's not going to succeed though, he's just slightly too close actually there. LR Bjorn though around the outside of Heidcycle. Can he get that position there? Both on the soft compound of tyres. Will that Toro Rosso succeed, or will he be overtaken by the Red Bull? I'm not quite sure. LR Bjorn still behind though, so it looks like he's successful in his defence so far. LR Patrick though, he's run wide. That could give Just Call Me Bread the opportunity. No, it's not. That gap though from Campbell to Spaghetti Chips is very wide. Keep it off Sparholt there. He's doing a very decent job. Heidcycle and LR Bjorn though having an absolute tussle there for the 9th position. And apparently the gap to Bjorn from Maurice is 1 minute 40 seconds. I struggle to believe that, because that would be a whole lap. And we're only on the 3rd one. So a bit of a glitchy timing board this evening, which is a bit of a shame. Hopefully that doesn't persist though, as look at this. Now Bjorn, he's gone from attacking Heidcycle to trying to defend from Maurice. He's had a poor exit through turn 1 though. This could give the Mercedes what he needs as he heads through the next turn. He's flat out on the exit towards the next chicane and into the hairpin, taking a lot of curb there, trying to extend those track limits as much as possible. Round the outside into the hairpin. Could he get the switchback move done? No, he's not. He's had a little tap there with the back of Bjorn, and that hasn't quite succeeded for him. He tried to get the switchback. He was still side by side with that Red Bull to be successful. Anyway, a lot of Bjorn though taking a very defensive line there as he head into the next chicane. Really moving to the inside, trying to block off that line from the Mercedes. However, Spaghetti Chips and Sam are just, I don't know how they managed to create such a large gap in such a short amount of time. But they've done it, and look at this. Marcus Short is on the back of Larkin. He is looking to reclaim that position that he lost just a lap or two ago. So yeah, you can see he's really piling the pressure onto that racing point. He is in a racing point sandwich, and no doubt desperate to get out of it. That's not the greatest position you want to be in. As we head through turn 19 now towards turns 20 and 21. Let's see what this Alfa Romeo can do. Number 14 there of Marcus Short. And look at this, Spaghetti Chips already in the pits with the Larkin. So very, very early pit stops. I mean, some of them might have gone for that second hot lap on those tyres, might have given them some extra wear. As well as that though, these tyres clearly aren't lasting very long, so it might be softer hards. We'll have a look at the tyre they go onto. No, softer mediums. And look at that, quite a few drivers deciding to pit at around the same time. So we'll probably see the rest of these soft runners coming into the pits. Only 3 laps though on those softs. So very interesting, just when we've read there with a time penalty. 2 stops. That is actually soft to medium to medium. I mean, Niels Barcer's on the hards. I think he sustained some damage during those opening couple of laps, which would explain his choice. I mean, those hards might make it to the end, but I don't know how competitive they are against the medium tyres in terms of pace around this circuit. I mean, it varies a lot from circuit to circuit. At Sochi, they didn't even need to touch the hard tyres because those mediums, the tyres just don't get worn around that track. They can get worn a little bit more around here, though. Otherwise, we wouldn't be seeing the necessity for such an amount of pit stops. With Marcus Short now up into 4th as a result of that early pit stop by his rival Larkin. Now remember, Kvyat Campbell just needs to finish ahead of Larkin to take the lead in the championship, so that could be a saving grace for that McLaren, just to increase that gap as you see him pull into the pits on the left-hand side of your screen. A couple of these drivers going out a little bit longer on their side, so maybe trying to stretch to the 1 stop. Although I think that the 2 stops probably a little bit more effective than the 1 stop. You never know though, we might see some audacious attempts, and you can see their mediums definitely being very popular, so the 2 stop strategy looks to be the one to go with. I mean, we could always just see someone with an alternate strategy doing the gamble, seeing whether or not it works. I mean, that wouldn't help though if there was a safety car, because that would really have a bad effect on them now. But Lakitu is into the lead of the race for now. Of course, I predicted these 2 Alfa Romeos finishing on the podium. We've still got a long way to go though. We're not even 20% of the way through the race. But yeah, I did predict these 2 on the podium. They're currently there now. Will they stay there? It's unlikely once the pit stop phases through. I don't know how they're going to stack up the overcut versus the undercut. They're just quite a couple of few drivers staying out. I mean, Sem has pitted, so Spaghetti Chips. That gap's still quite low. Spaghetti Chips definitely putting up a fight against Sem, so he's clearly been practicing for this evening. Maurice and Patrick both started on the medium tyres, so they'll be going on for a little bit longer, maybe medium soft medium or medium soft. Trying to get that fastest lap point at the end of the race, of course. When you're lower on fuel, you can push a little bit harder and get some relatively fast lap times in there. We'll see how that strategy plays out for them. Now then, Lakitu going into the pits, so that's going to give Marcus Short the lead. He's stayed out for yet another lap. So he's going to have done 6 laps at least on these soft tyres, not to mention he qualified on them. So they're probably going to be dropping off quite soon. He's going to have Simply Superman. He's not too far behind him, so it'll be interesting to see where Lakitu comes out actually. There goes Spaghetti Chips. QVR Campbell along the straight, as well as Larkin. LR Bjorn as well. So I don't think that's been the greatest strategy for Lakitu, which does not bode well for his teammate Marcus, currently sitting on the top spot. Down to 10th there for Lakitu. I think it was slightly higher before the pit stops. However, that's if you add 4 to that, that'll be around 6th place. I mean, it's not bad actually. Simply Superman and Maurice exchange positions there as we head along the main straight, and LR Patrick is overtaken by Just Call Me Bread, that Ferrari on the straight. I think, of course, DRS has been activated, maybe a little bit of ERS and maybe fuel mixture as well thrown in for good measure, just to try and maximise the speed along that straight and try and get the overtake done and dusted. Now that is the easiest place to overtake on this track, just given the length of that DRS straight. However, we'll see what effect that has got. Larkin very close behind QVR Campbell. So this could be quite interesting. Lakitu will be wanting to catch up to this, trying to get ahead of QVR Campbell. Hold on a second, I'm just going to have a quick look at the championship standings again. Hopefully I don't miss anything important. It doesn't look like anything's happened quite yet. Oh no, yellow flags in Sector 3. Just Call Me Bread is out of the session. That's a big crash. He's off right on the inside of turn 19. That is really interesting. Larkin might have been lining up an attack. That's been thrown out the window. Larkin currently winning the championship. I mean, QVR Campbell just needs to finish ahead of Larkin. That's a virtual safety car though. And that's going to benefit Marcus Short. Everyone's going to have to be going slower. So he could actually... Let's see where he comes out in relation to his teammate of Lakitu. Marcus Short heading out of the pit lane now. Here comes Lakitu through turn 1. You can see Marcus heading under the track. And I think Lakitu is going to come out ahead of him. Yes, he is. That gap around 2 seconds. I think Marcus Short may have made up about a second because of that virtual safety car. That's not too bad. But yeah, very interesting to see a car on the inside of turn 19. Usually it's on the outside where they've had the collision. So maybe he had a bit of oversteer and sent it into the barrier on the inside. I'm not entirely sure. I'd like to know what happened there. But yeah, remember, Campbell is trying to get ahead of Larkin. Lakitu is trying to get ahead of Campbell. Of course, Larkin on 58 points, Campbell on 57, and Lakitu on 54. Dropping not racing tonight. He's on 50 though. So that's not good news for him. The virtual safety car has gone in again. And we'll be underway with racing once again. The LR Bjorn round the outside of Heights Weichel. Can he make it stick though? He's going to go for the switchback as we head through the chicane. Can that Red Bull get the position? He's nearly in the back of Weichel with the second bout of DRS though. He might just pull it off. Round the outside he goes. As we head into the next couple of turns, it looks like he might have pulled it off. Heights Weichel though, back down the inside. It's going to be the outside again. Before the inside, there's contact. Has LR Bjorn spun? No, he's not, but he's been knocked off the track there. That must be very frustrating for him. But look at the timing boards at the moment. Sem has increased the gap to Spaghetti Chips by 4.5 seconds. So either he's sped up a lot, or Spag has dropped back a lot. And I mean, QVR Campbell's only half a second behind him. So I think it might be the latter. I think Spag might be losing some amount of time, and Sem definitely picking up some time. I think QVR Campbell, though, just received the penalty, and those penalties are going to become very important at the end of this Grand Prix. We're going to head up to these drivers now, actually, Larkin and Campbell and Lakitu. These drivers all battling in the championship. Whoever finishes ahead out of Larkin and Campbell will take the lead. They will take second place, in the championship. Lakitu with a 3-second time penalty as well. Very easy to extend track limits here because you don't really get punished unless it's a barrier. So you're either penalised or you're out of the race. And it's usually the former, where we have seen with Just Call Me Bread. It doesn't always end like that. Lap 8 of 28 then. We still have 20 laps to go, and you can see Marcus Short has caught up to Lakitu. So we're beginning to see a train develop, which is for net second place. Give us Sparhole with a time penalty. But yeah, this is net second place once Maurice and Patrick pit. Now Patrick could hold up Spaghetti Chips, and that will allow the drivers behind him to catch up even more. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is the battle, as I just said, for net second. This is the podium positions. This is Very interesting trainers. There's the yellow flags in sector 3. That's Patrick. He's taken out QVR Campbell, the contender for second place. QVR Campbell is going to be absolutely devastated by that. I don't really know what happened there. That's a virtual safety. That should be a full-blown safety car. But QVR Campbell is going to be absolutely distraught. The door is now wide open for Larkin and Lakitu to sail past him in the championships. I'm going to have a look at the replay of that one because that was a hefty impact. I think what happened there was... Hold on a second. So, I think Patrick dropped it. Now, I did say Patrick might end up holding them up. I didn't expect him to take them out, though. So, yeah, so they head through the next couple of turns. Oh, and Patrick, he sent it into the barrier. Spaghetti Chips was quick enough to react to the car off the track as Larkin overtakes Spaghetti Chips for second place overall. Or net, sorry, not overall, that's third place overall. But yeah, what happened there was yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't a safety car. But yeah, what happened there was Patrick was in the barrier. Spaghetti Chips was quick enough to react and try and get out the way of that Toro Rosso. But for some reason, I don't think Patrick was out of the race completely. He just buried himself in that barrier, and that meant that Campbell just didn't see it and smashed straight into the back of him. So that is really, really unfortunate for the McLaren to be taken out by someone he wasn't even racing. And that is really frustrating. With just 2 rounds after this, until the end of the championship, that is not good news at all. Remember, only 8 rounds. Every point is worth almost 3 times what it is usually worth. And that is just extreme disappointment there for QVR Campbell. Yeah, I'll get the ERS up right away. I don't think we need the track map anymore, but we'll get the telemetry up. Yeah, so the battle for next second rages on. 1 less driver involved. There's yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. And that's a Mercedes of QVR Sparholt. He's spun it on the straight. No, he's not. That's it. No, sorry, I thought that was the main straight following this. No, he's spun it on the exit of that first sector, well, that first section of turns, just at the end of sector 1, really. That's not good news for him. He won't be too happy about that. Easy mistake to make, though. Larkin is trying to catch up to Spaghetti Chips, though. Spag did reclaim that position. Larkin around the outside, though, as we head towards the chicane. Can he pull off this overtake? He'll have the inside line for the second pot, and he's got it for the third pot as well. Yeah, he was on for a great points finish. And these 2 drivers, Lakitu and Larkin, that's going to be very scary for Campbell as we head into the last 2 rounds over the next couple of weeks. Of course, we're rounding off in just 2 weeks' time. It's definitely getting darker around this track, you can tell, as we are past 1/3 of the way through the Grand Prix. Look how close these drivers are, though. This is a serious train for second. Maurice does pit, though. It'll be interesting to see what tyres he goes on to. It looks like another set of medium, so we're going to softs at the end of the Grand Prix. So it's definitely going to be soft, medium, medium. Maybe someone will have a crack at a soft, medium, soft. I don't think that's very likely, though. I think those softs wear extraordinarily quickly around this track. But yeah, Lakitu really putting himself up into Spaghetti Chips' mirrors. In fact, he's going to have a look down the inside through the chicane, and that could have been an oversight. They were very close there. Spag ran slightly wide over the curbing, and that is not good news for him. As QVR Sparholt gets a 3-second penalty. Yellow flags in sector 3, and I believe that he's retired in the pit lane. It's not been the greatest race for him. You can understand him retiring, though. He has got that injury to his wrist. But here we go then. Larkin around the outside of Spaghetti Chips. Spag reclaiming that position, getting hold onto it. No, he can't. Larkin back down the inside, and look at this, Lakitu. He's right behind Spaghetti Chips as there's more yellow flags in sector 1. I don't know what on earth has caused them, but Spaghetti Chips back around the outside of Larkin to try and reclaim second position. They're side by side, but the outside the outside into that first part of the turns is definitely beneficiary. Yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. I don't really know what the cause of that is, so yeah, we'll just leave it. But Marcus Short, though, the Alfa Romeo is quite close to each other. I'm not sure how much you want your two teammates to be battling, because a collision between them is not just one car out of the points for that whole round for the Constructors' Championship, but it's actually for the whole team. They'll be coming home with none instead of quite a few, because in their current position they're on for a fantastic high double points finish for those two Alfa Romeos, which is more than can be said for lots of the cars. However, those two racing points actually in a similar position, sandwiching these two Alfa Romeos. Lakitu, though, he's quite close behind Larkin. Spaghetti Chips increasing that gap behind him slightly, not significantly though. But as Larkin does look to defend from behind himself, that gap is going to increase further. Sem's going to need a safety car. I don't know if Sem will need a safety car. As around the outside, Spaghetti Chips goes, still defending from Larkin. I mean, that's looking to be the best place to overtake into that section. Yeah, here we've got Simply Superman. He's not too far behind these guys. Larkin moving to the outside, though. This is the ideal route to overtake. We've seen him do it before. We've seen Spaghetti Chips do it before. And he's got it before they've even reached the apex. Lakitu and Marcus Short right up the gearbox of Spaghetti Chips, but Larkin is now up into second place. And I think we've had some kind of incident in Category 3 as LR Bjorn. Look at this with Heinz Michael. They're both off the track. That was some real argy-bargy between the two sister teams. Cars. Very interesting between them. So unfortunately we've had to miss that, but that's going to be yellow flags in Sector 3. That is the Rosso. Yeah, that'll be Heinz Michael. So he's getting sustained damage or been forced off once again by LR Bjorn. So that'll be interesting, but yeah, a bit of toxicity going on in Category 3, which is unfortunate to see. However, I won't be the judge of whatever happened, because I can't have seen it at this point in time. Lakitu, though, is right behind Spaghetti Chips. I apologise for that, my dog just walked in, and I know my family doesn't take it too kindly when I was shouting and screaming, and that door is wide open. But we are back in the action. There's yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. What is the cause of that? It doesn't look to be anything too drastic, but look at that. Heinz Michael retaking that position. Up Bjorn is round the outside. Goes Lakitu. And he's got that position of Spaghetti Chips. What a move! As they're still side by side heading along the straight. Lakitu has got the outside, which is the ideal position for the overtake here. Marcus Short, though, he's looking to get his nose in, as Spaghetti Chips has a sniff of the inside line on Larkin. Lakitu around the outside, though, on the exit of that next turn. Can he get the position? Spaghetti Chips nearly into the side of him, as they're still side by side. That's why we saw Michael and Bjorn have contact earlier. Now look at this, Marcus Short trying to go 3 wide through turn 15. Through 16 and 17, Lakitu has got that position. He's locked up, though. Spaghetti Chips trying to get that switchback move done. Can he get it succeeded? He's touched the back. There's slight contact there. Is that going to be front wing damage for that Renault? Has he got end plate damage on that left-hand side? No, he hasn't. He's managed to get away from that unscathed, which is very lucky. With that, I mean, even though it's light contact, it's very easy to sustain damage. Do let me know if there's any telemetry you want to see up on the left-hand side. I'll wang it away for now. As that's a time penalty there for Marcus Short. I forgot about those. They're going to have I think they're going to have the biggest impact on the end of the race, those time penalties. But look at this, Marcus Short really showing himself to Spaghetti Chips. Letting him know he's still there, and he's still presenting a danger. All of this battling, though, is giving Simply Superman the chance to catch up, and that's going to be wearing their tyres a lot harder than they would otherwise be wearing. And it's just giving Sem the absolute glorious time of it. He's going to be absolutely chuffed with this. He's going to be flying away, but Lakitu around the outside of Larkin for second place here at Abu Dhabi. Can he get that position done? They're still side by side on the exit. Will it stay that way? Who has the DRS? It looks like, yes, Lakitu has the DRS. Around the outside he goes on Larkin. This could be for a championship position. This will separate them by 3 points in the championship. Enough to put them on par with each other as we head into the penultimate round of the championship next week. But yes, that's going to be Lakitu up into second place. We've got Simply Superman and Maurice having a bit of a battle as they make their way up. I mean, Simply Superman dropping back a bit, probably being held up or slowed down rather, not held up, but definitely being slowed down by that battle. In fact, we've got battles all the way over the track, apart from Nils Larsen, unfortunately. He's not having the greatest time, but he's on the default setup though, because he joined during qualifying. He wasn't able to get a setup in, unfortunately. But yeah, here we go then. Spaghetti Chips still close behind Larkin. Larkin pulling into the pit lane, as does Marcus Short, pulling it on the trigger very, very late. Now the undercut, we saw it work earlier. Will it be as successful again now, as we've got Eloise Maurice on Simply Superman? We've not really seen much of this battle, so we'll watch a bit of it now, see what happens between this Mercedes and this Racing Point. I don't understand either, Andy. Sem is just, he's got ridiculous pace, but he's definitely being benefited by those cars batting behind him. It means he's got clean air and he can just pull away. But look at the black helmet on Maurice. It's quite, it goes well quite, it goes nicely with that Mercedes, you've got to admit. But look at this, as we head towards the next couple of turns. He's going to pull to the inside, goes Eloise Morris with that DRS to help him. Look how powerful it is. He's got that position about half a kilometre from the braking zone. So yeah, you just see how strong the DRS can be on that shot. He probably has some ERS in reserve. I'm not sure about Simply Superman though. We'll head down to Michael and Marcus Short. Marcus Short, he's come out in traffic. He is not going to be happy about this. And look at that lag. That was not good news. As down the inside goes Michael for Bjorn. This battle is really going to be holding up Marcus Short. He's not going to be too happy about that. He needs to try and get as fast as he can on his outlap, as he would have tried to do on his in-lap. This is really, really not benefiting his undercut strategy, as he touches LR Bjorn. And they go too wide into the next turn on the DRS. There's contact there. Is there damage for Marcus Short? He's run straight over the track. I don't know about that one. I don't think that was strictly orthodox from him. As Sem goes into the pit, no doubt Lakitu and Spag will follow, as you see there on the left-hand side of the screen. Eloise Maurice doesn't need to pick white yet, because remember, he's started on the mediums. He's still got a little bit of a way to go before he pits onto the softs for the end of the Grand Prix. Only 13 laps to go though, not too far, and it has been a very, very dramatic Grand Prix so far. Let's see whether it stays that way. Only 10 runners left. All the drivers have to do is get to the finish line, and they'll get some points. So, bit of a war of attrition. Now, I noticed that Niels is catching up to Bjorn and Michael at the moment. That gap gradually going down. He might get down enough before the end of the race, I don't know. We'll see whether he can catch up. It's not been the greatest race for him, though. You've got to feel a bit of sympathy for him at the back, because everywhere, well, him and Sem have pretty much been out of action, if you know what I mean. Well, not out of action, but ridiculously fast. Yeah. I don't think Campbell was too happy about that, because of the ghosting system in this game. I mean, it's a shame, but we'll get back to the action. Nils Barson with a time penalty. That's not good news for him, but look at this. Larkin and Lakitu. Larkin has come out of those pit stops ahead of the other Alfa Romeo. Now, these drivers will be going to the end on this compound of tyres. Some of them tried to put a 3-stop out of the bag, which is unlikely, to say the least. But yeah, Larkin managing to come out on top of these guys, and Spaghetti Chips really losing out. He's come out behind Marcus as well, even though Marcus got caught up in that traffic. So that's good news for the Renault. Oh no, really bad news for the Renault. Sorry, good news for Larkin though, as Marcus does set the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:37.6. I mean, my prediction of that double Alfa Romeo podium, it's not too unlikely, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah. But yes. What was I saying? Yeah, but I think these two Alfa Romeos could try and get that double podium behind Sem. I mean, Sem's pretty much got a win in the bag. After I've said that, he is probably going to crash now, because curse to the commentator. But here we go, Lakitu around the outside. He gives a little love tap to Larkin just to let him know he's there. He might go for the switch back here as he's side by side on the exit with the DRS to help him as he heads towards the next couple of turns. This could be what he needs. He will have that extra speed though with the DRS. No, he hasn't. Yeah, he has got DRS, sorry. He's going to be around the outside. We've seen the outside is the most powerful line through these couple of turns, and he's got it before the second part of the chicane. And that's going to put Larkin in the Alfa Romeo sandwich. Now Marcus Short is going to be trying to get past. Simply Superman and Maurice, they are both doing an alternate strategy, starting on the mediums, which is why they've yet to pit. And that's why Sem is catching up to them now. Maybe we'll see this, hopefully not, but maybe we'll see the same kind of incident when these guys catch up to that traffic as well. I say that though, Simply Superman has gone into the pits. Sem sets the fast lap at 1:37.4, 0.2 of a second quicker than Marcus Short's lap. But yeah, Spag has really lost out. He's over a second behind these guys, so he's not even within the DRS range. Well, they're going to be towing each other along lap after lap with the DRS. So yeah, Spag really not having a good time of it in that second set of pit stops. He won't be. He will be looking to try and improve, but he's going to struggle without that DRS. The other drivers will be towing each other along. However, he is catching up again to Marcus. That gap just over a second. He's not going to have the DRS. He's just 1/10 of a second outside of that. But yeah, I mean, at least Campbell, you put on a great show before you ended up retiring. So that's one thing to take home this evening, I suppose. I mean, that's about as far as I can console a driver who got taken out by someone who wasn't really racing. But here we go then. Larkin and Lakiti, the two L's, as always, battling us out. Yeah, let's have an F in the chat for Campbell. Here we go though. I mean, Larkin, he's close behind Lakiti still. Now this battle has cooled down ever so slightly for now, and we've still got 10 laps to go though, so it's definitely not over, but it has definitely cooled down. Spaghetti Chip staying consistently 1.1 seconds away, which must be oh so frustrating, just out of that DRS zone, that DRS range rather, which means he doesn't have the DRS, and it just means they can pull away from him on the straight. So there he is. You can just see how frustratingly close he is to that DRS gap. And yeah, that pit stop salvo just didn't work out for him. And you can see this gap between these guys extending a little. I think they're all realising, hold on a second guys, we've probably got to conserve our tyres. Otherwise we're not actually going to make it to the checkered flag. There's a bit of a corner cut there from Larkin. I think the time penalties might be the deciding factor here. And I don't want to look. I don't want to ruin the surprise. Unless you guys want me to look at the time penalties, let me know. But it's always a bit of a surprise. Nice, nasty. Either way, it's interesting when you get to that checkered flag and you see the drivers jump all over the grid on that timing board. But yeah, those gaps beginning to close up again. So I think they were just taking a little bit of a break from the lap after lap action we've had so far between them. As Just Call Me Brett has left the session, he was our first retiree this evening. So it wasn't the greatest race for him. And Patrick and Campbell had that collision, and QVR Spa-Holt decided to retire in the pit lane. So, sorry, my voice has gone a bit funny. But yes, Larkin is still quite close. Marcus Short, though, is becoming a bit more prominent behind that, tantalisingly close to that DRS range, although that is beginning to get bigger. It's up to 1.3 now, although it's dropping down a little bit. That's varying a bit, but it must be frustrating for that Renault driver to know how close, but how far he is from that DRS zone. He's varying about 1.1, 1.3 seconds away, so he's not really gaining or losing, which is the problem. He needs to gain just that little bit extra, try and get himself back in the DRS train, and he'll be able to start keeping up with them again. And once they start battling with each other again, that'll be a lot easier for him. But for now, Likitu looks like he's beginning to pull away from Larkin, although Larkin's still within that DRS range. So it's not enough as yet, as Short. He has a look of the inside line on Larkin. Still having to hold off for now. He's still got a long way to go though. We've still got 8.5 laps before the final checkered flag this evening. as Sem is beginning to get himself in traffic with Maurice. Maurice will be pitting soon enough for the soft though, so that won't affect these drivers because there's still a gap of over 10 seconds to that Mercedes, the lone remaining Mercedes. We'll see how that all pans out. I mean, Larkin is beginning to catch up with Lakitu. So what I said about Lakitu pulling away, it wasn't strictly speaking true, as Sem gets a time penalty. You'd have thought, oh, if you were Sem, you'd probably just be relaxing at this point. There's no point pushing, as I say that. Maurice does go into the pits as expected. But yeah, if you were Sem, you'd probably just be trying to relax, trying not to get the time penalties and just trying to get it to the end. Because that is an extraordinary gap, about 9, nearly 10 seconds. So he'll probably just be easing off the pressure a bit. Now I notice that Eisweichel and Ella Bjorn, that gap beginning to increase again. That's quite a tussle between those two drivers. A bit more ruthless in this one, but the skies are still darkening here at the Yas Marina circuit, as Eisweichel does get a 3-second time penalty. Yas Marina tonight, Marina Bay next week, followed by Suzuka, which doesn't fit in with the trend. But yeah, Spaghetti Chips, look at that, he's so tantalisingly close to the DRS range. It's about 2/200ths of a second off it. It's just really must be so frustrating in that Renault, being so close yet so far from catching up with these guys. It was all down to those pit stops. He came out just slightly too far behind them to try and catch up once again. But as we do head along the secondary pit straight, you can see on the right hand side there the pit exit. A bit weird of a facility, if you know what I mean, around this track. It's just an interesting secondary pit straight because it's really curved. But I mean, other tracks are like that, such as, I don't know, Spa-Francorchamps. That secondary pit straight's a bit wonky and it leads straight into Eau Rouge. However, if you're using the double set of pits, it's usually stuff like the GT World Challenge, the Blancpain GT3 and GT4 series, as Spaghetti Chips does get a 3-second time penalty. They usually use both sets of pit stops, I believe, and they have a rolling start anyway. Speaking of which, though, I think that I may be participating, along with a couple of drivers in the sea, in the iRacing 24 Hours of Spa, which would be quite interesting. See how it goes. I only just got it, so yes, that'll be an interesting thing. But we have got Marcus Short, though, still quite close behind Larkin, not able to make that move, though. 6 or 7 or so laps to go. Still got a fair opportunity to try and make that move. I mean, that gap from Sem to Lakitu is almost 10 seconds at this point. It looks like nothing. I think Sem very well might wrap up the championship this evening. I'll have to double check at the end when he crosses that checkered flag at the finish line. Hold on a second. He's on 96 points. Let me just get my calculator up because I don't have the mental capacity to calculate this while commentating. That gap is currently 38 points. Lakitu, if he finishes second, he'll be on 54. 54 plus 18, 64. 72. 72, that'll be 121. 121 to 72. Hold on a second. I think I've done this right. That'll be 49 points. So Marcus Short just getting a 3-second time penalty there. That might work in Spaghetti Chips' favour. But Spag is beginning to drop back, as is Marcus actually. That gap was half a second earlier. It's all the way up to pretty much a second now, as Maurice does hit the fast lap with a 1:37.1. Now, I did say that earlier. He'll be waiting to the end. He'll be on those softs right at the end of the race, and he'll be on in a lighter car, so he'll definitely be able to push that fast lap. Of course, 10 drivers remaining. Whoever has the fastest lap out of these remainers will get the extra point. So Sem won't quite be able to wrap up the championship this evening as things stand. I mean, Lakitu is behind Larkin as well. But look at this, Marcus Short, he's over a second behind Larkin now. He needs Lakitu to start battling with Larkin so he can catch up again. Otherwise, the double Alfa Romeo podium is not going to happen. But I mean, Larkin and these guys have just done a fantastic job battling. So did Spaghetti Chips and Marcus actually, in fact. Marcus just only dropping back now, but Swag and Campbell as well. They did such a fantastic job putting on a great show. And that show isn't over yet. Definitely not. We don't know where these guys are going to finish. I mean, the penalties. I keep saying it, but the penalties are going to have such a big impact on the outcome of the race. And speaking of which, Simply Superman gets 3 seconds worth of them. But yeah, they're just going to have such a big impact. And if the drivers stay this close to each other, that impact is going to amplify. I don't think we're going to be seeing a safety car, though. We've only got, what, 5 laps to go. So it's unlikely we'll be seeing a safety car. And look at this gap. It's beginning to extend between all of these drivers. Looking like this might be the on-track finishing order. So we'll see how that all finishes. But yeah, so far these guys putting on a fantastic show. I mean, all over the grid actually. Heißweikel and Bjorn, Simply Superman and Maurice, they had their battles as well. I think it was just after those last couple of pit stops where everything started to extend again. I mean, Larkin's over a second clear. Lakiti's over a second clear of Larkin now. Lakiti looks like he's on the same pace as Sem right now. That gap's staying, it's been staying just under 10 seconds for the last, I don't know. I don't know how long actually. So I think Sem might have backed off ever so slightly because there's no point really pushing. He doesn't want to risk that penalty. Yeah, we have 16 people watching. Not too bad, is it? But yeah. I mean, Sem, he's just pulling one out of the bag this evening. But as things stand, in the current finishing order... Hold on a second. Hold on a moment. Larkin will be 1 point ahead of Lakitu if things finish the way they are looking right now. As well as that, Marcus is going to start closing up to Spaghetti Chips in the championship. But from my calculations, which I will give the benefit of the doubt, they are my calculations, Sem will be 48 points ahead of Larkin heading into the next round. So he could wrap it up next week at Singapore. But we're going to go down to Spaghetti Chips and Maurice, as Maurice does set the fastest lap. He is really on a charge now. He's going to try and get that 5th position. He might even be able to push for that 4th position before the end of the Grand Prix this evening. We're already on lap 25 of 28. Just 4 laps to go. Maurice has got so much more pace on those softs than those mediums. I mean, they're fresher, they're softer, they've got more grip. He could really push. I mean, they're half the age of Spaghetti Chipsers. He could really push to get this position. He's been catching up like a rampant. I don't know how quickly, but very quickly he has been catching up, and he's going to get that position. Fantastic there from Maurice. He could try and get Marcus short as well. I mean, he's not too far behind. But yeah, I mean, that 1.3 seconds. Maurice could be on for a 4th place finish. Maybe even a podium. Oh, I don't want to poke the devil though. As Neil's still the airtime penalty. Doesn't matter though, because he's on for a podium points finish, sorry. And Bjorn, as Spaghetti Chips, gets a 3-second time penalty. That's not the first one he's had. Bjorn is catching up to Heißweikel again. They had that battle earlier. That battle is about to reignite. But look at this, Maurice is just on an absolute rampage. He's already half a second closer to Marcus Short than he was a moment ago. He could really push for the podium. That would be absolutely sensational. I'm going to touch wood though. But look how close he's caught up to Marcus Short. We saw him do this to Spaghetti Chips. He's doing it to Marcus now. Can he do it to Larkin as well? We've only got 3 laps to go though. This could be a real sprint from that Mercedes. But look at, he's got so much more pace than these drivers. They're on older tyres. They're on harder tyres. Can he pull it off? I don't know. But he's very, very close behind Marcus Short for now. Oh, look at this. He might go for the switchback through the hairpin. Can he get the power down? As he heads along the straight, he's going to move to the inside of Marcus Short. This is for 4th position. He's going to sail past that DRS, all powerful around this track. That's going to be 4th position for Maurice. He's now got a gap of 1 second with 2.5 laps to try and overtake Larkin. It's going to have to be a push. Let's see what he can do. It's all part of the great Mercedes master plan. Marcus Short, it's James. Well, there's not really much point of Marcus Short really trying to battle that, I don't think, because Maurice just has so much space. Look at that, he's 0.8 of a second behind Larkin. That gap down nearly half a second already. Spin Alain. Don't say that. We don't want anyone to spin, do we? We've had enough of that already. I think if anyone's had enough of that, it'll have been Campbell. But look at this, Maurice. He's just 0.7 of a second behind Larkin. This could be monumental as they head through turns 20 and 21. That's not to discredit the other drivers though, but it looks like the alternate strategy might be really paying off for the Mercedes driver. Maurice for P3, let's see if he can do it. Oh, look at that, it's just 0.4 of a second now. He's really catching up. This could be a sensational drive from the Mercedes. Of course, himself, and there was, oh, there's yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. That's the wrong thing I'm looking at. That's the Renault of Spaghetti Chips. He's well onto the grass. He has gone for a right rally trip. I think there's a rallycross track here. That isn't it, and that's a 10-second time penalty as well. But here comes Morris along the straight with the DRS to help him. He's going to move to the outside of Larkin. This is for the podium position on lap 27 of 28. He's done it. He has taken the podium for now. Can he hold on to it? This is fantastic there from Maurice. The real question is, where are the penalties going to place him? I mean, he's not safe yet. Larkin strikes back. They have slight contact. Can Maurice pull ahead? He's going to have the outside, which will become the inside again. Larkin gets a 3-second time penalty, though, for multiple warnings as he runs wide. Very, very, very close between those drivers. We're on the penultimate lap, though. Maurice, with this absolute rampage, has got himself flying up the order. It's just fantastic from the Mercedes. Now that's caused Marcus Short up to Larkin. So Marcus might try and get that position. Now as it stands, because Larkin's dropped back, Nikita will overtake Larkin in the championship standings. That's fantastic news for the Alfa Romeo. And that's going to mean that Sem is 49 points clear of... Yeah, it was a bit dirty from Maurice. But yeah, I have to admit, there was a bit of a push and shove from there. I don't think Maurice gave the right amount of room. He definitely did force Larkin. I mean, Larkin can appeal that, but look at this, Marcus Short really closing up to Larkin now as we are on the final lap of the race. We will have to head up to Sem at some point though. Here's Michael with a 3-second time penalty. Spaction raced in C5. I'm sure he'll be pleased to hear that when he re-watches the stream. But Marcus Short, I don't think that gap's small enough as yet to make that position. You can see he's really closing up with that slipstream though. That distance though, still working a treat. This is Sem though. He's just at the end of that straight we're heading on to now with Marcus Short and Larkin. Can Marcus get that position? This is where Larkin was overtaken last lap by Eloise Maurice. Will we see the same from Marcus Short? I don't think we will. Marcus just slightly too far back. Yeah, he is not last, as a wise Jeremy Clarkson once said. But here comes Sem with a fantastic drive, just once again pulling immense pace out of thin air to come through turn 21 for the final time and take the checkered flag here at Abu Dhabi. After a fantastic Grand Prix, the fireworks are rising. Here comes Nikita to come home second. He's got Maurice not too far behind him, but good drive there from Nikita as well, putting on a fantastic show. Across the line he goes. Maurice taking second place because of time penalties. Larkin followed by Marcus Short. Simply Superman coming through the final turns now. He's just ahead of Spaghetti Chips. Spaghetti ran wide. And he should be clear of Bjorn. I don't know how many penalties Bjorn has. As there goes Spaghetti Chips, who has a lot of penalties. Bjorn's going to come home just ahead of Hype's Weichel, though, as we head through these last couple of turns. They have fantastic battle throughout the race as well. You can't discredit them. They did well. They put on a good show, and Weichel really having a push through to the final lap. And across the line, Weichel's taken the position because Bjorn had a penalty. I think Bjorn might have celebrated slightly too early there, but because had he not had penalties, that would have been... Oh no, that's the line there, never mind. So that's the timing. I don't know. But what a race. Larkin is not happy with Maurice. Yeah, that's going to be second place for Larkin. He's going to be happy with that. Maurice though, no, Larkin's third place. And he's not happy with Maurice. I can tell you now by looking at the chat. Just, what a race. Larkin finishing 4th rather. That was insane. I mean, it was a bit of a argy-bargy from Maurice, but he did get the position in the end. The stewards can always deal with that. I mean, Maurice managed to sail through without a penalty as well. But the finishing order, it's going to be Sem 12, 2004, followed by Eloise Maurice, Lekitu, Larkin 45, Marcus Short, Simply Superman 69, Spaghetti Chips, Hives Weichel, LR Bjorn and Nils Barca rounding off the finishers. The DNFs were QVR Sparholt, who retired in the pit lane, QVR Campbell and LR Patrick, who collided after Patrick made a mistake, and Just Call Me Bread was our first DNF. But my, what a Grand Prix that was. And don't forget to put any questions you have for the podium finishers down below, and I'll be sure to ask them. Let me just see if I have any of the podium finishers as friends so I can invite them quickly. I think I just have Sem as a friend. But yeah, do let me know your questions for the podium bet. What a sensational drive. Even if it might have been slightly tarnished by that move on Larkin from Maurice. But he did what he had to do to get that second place. And I just think that final stint on those softs was immense from that Mercedes driver. And we'll invite Lekitu as well. Mein Gott muss das sein. Is Lekitu still in the session? No. Well, we'll have to do this the hard way. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. And then we'll get underway with the podium interviews as soon as possible. The two Dutchies, first and second. And I've forgotten the... Hold on a second. Lekitu 886. There we go. Hopefully they join the party, because none of them have done so yet. But yeah, we sure was awesome. I mean, that was just fantastic. Yeah, I know you were teasing about Spag, don't worry. Sem, how did Sem suddenly pull away from Spag? Yeah, I know. Spag was really tailing him, and then it just dropped. And it looks like it's just me and Sem in the session. I don't know if Sem wants to join the party or not, but... hopefully, yes, one of them joins. If not, we might have to wrap it up early. I mean... I've disconnected. Okay then, I don't think any of them are gonna join, which is a big shame. But I think we'll end it there. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that race, because I certainly did. I will see you next time in Singapore.